today's tube is full to bursting.
We can't physically cope with the amount of people that we carry.
Madam, come to me.
That's it, come on, home sweet home.
And the underground staff are flat out,
Go home.
dealing with us.
A 10-pint of lager day.
I just seen the person squatting and like...
For the 20,000 people who keep the tube running,
International rescue.
every day brings new challenges.
We are a mobile Swiss Army knife.
And passenger problems
Excuse me, sir. Ticket inspector. Yeah, but it's not a free service on the underground, is it?
that could bring the tube to a halt.
Chaos, chaos.
Everything running smoothly has now gone the opposite route. See, just like that.
Until I get a shout, I'm going to stand here and just look pretty in front of my public.
Just open the gate.
Chaotic as always.
So this year, it's all change on the world's oldest underground.
This could be the future. This could be the revolution. Join the revolution, everybody.
But for the tube's long-suffering workers, it's more than a job.
It feels like home, just like family. Sometimes we love each other, sometimes we don't.
This way out. This way.
I'm a parent, and they're my children.
Mate, mate.
This is their story.
We cope, because that's what we do. We cope.
This time, on the tube. A crackdown on fare dodgers.
You just jump through.
So what? Listen, don't touch me, mate.
Where have you travelled
Listen,
from?
don't touch me, yeah?
Where are you going?
One of London's biggest stations is forced to close.
This is the main area of London, Oxford Street, and the station is closed.
If you can imagine the upheaval it must cause, just having no central line at all.
Next station is Blackfriars.
And a new recruit tries to carry on up the tube.
Have you been on the front of one of these before?
No,
This is what it's
don't
like.
get many firsts at my age. They've all been done. I've done it all. Well, almost.
It's the start of another working day in London. And the Underground's drivers are up early, bringing the tube back to life.
It's taking people to work, taking people home, taking them to school. I do appreciate this job. I think it's in the blood. It's my destiny.
It's 7 a.m. And as the tube fills, the pressure levels rise.
30 people just rushed into me. I mean, I'm a big man. If I was a furloughed woman, they weren't even looking. They just got into the train. You've got to give some advice.
Okay, I'll let the...
Say something on the tannoy system.
All right, so... Sorry about that.
Every morning for the past 3 months, Walthamstow Station in North London has become one of the worst bottlenecks on the tube. One of its 2 vital escalators is out of action for a major refit.
They are too lazy. They are too lazy. They work too slowly.
I find it very inconvenient at the moment because the entrance to the station is always closed. It's not the sort of thing you want first thing in the morning.
Until it's fixed, 4,500 passengers an hour all have to use just one escalator or take the stairs.
So many stairs, isn't there? Terrible, very shaky.
For ticket hall staff Kat and Aftab, it's making rush hour tougher than ever.
What can you do? You can only apologise for our escalator not working. But we keep telling them, once they're done, that's it. Morning, my darling, how are you? Are you worn out? I told you it's your nice exercise in the morning.
Oh, my God. Nice exercise. I don't think so. Are they going to get the escalator fixed?
Remember I told you they're refurbishing them?
Yeah, I know.
They're going to do this one, then they're going to do that one. By April next year, you'll be gliding up there.
I'll be dead.
He's so sweet, he is.
Hidden away behind the hoardings, escalator engineer Adam is on a deadline.
We're about 2 weeks off returning this escalator to service. Because escalators are quite dangerous machines, we have to make sure that every part of the machine is absolutely tight. So there's no possibility of people trapping their fingers, tripping up.
Building finger-proof machinery is painstaking work. First, the dirt of years has to be removed.
Generally, when we start work on the machine, it is absolutely filthy. It's It's the dirtiest work you can imagine.
Why is that?
Because people are dirty. You see what they're fitting at the moment? Here, just down here, rather difficult location, this is called a handrail entry switch. And it's to stop anyone, I know it sounds bizarre, but it's to stop anyone sticking their fingers in the handrail as it enters the machine down here and getting the ends of their fingers taken off.
Does that actually happen?
It does, yes.
This job alone is costing £1.3 million. But that's a fraction of the Tube's annual repair budget of £50 million.
To maintain 275 stations, it's not an easy task. In my opinion, Victoria Line would be, like the Aston Martin. The Northern Line would be a very nice BMW, and the Bakerloo Line, it's like a Ford Fiesta.
Money's being spent, but it's not a straightforward fix.
It's a hugely complicated logistical and engineering task to do this while we're still operating one of the busiest metro systems in the world. A lot of the cost is because we're actually doing this to a live system. We're not closing down the whole system to rebuild it. We're having to do open heart surgery on the patient while the patient's still awake and talking to us.
This year, the Tube is spending £1.5 billion to try to upgrade its stations, trains and escalators. But the money to pay for it is coming from passengers' tickets.
Good morning, ticket inspectors. Checking your tickets and passes, please.
Undercover ticket inspectors Simon and Paul are on the front line of a war against ticket dodgers. Just when it needs the money most, the Tube is losing £34 million a year in fare dodging.
It's a bit like fishing, really. Depends whether you're in the right part of the river at the right time and if the fish are swimming by or if they're not. So you can only but try, and if you get work, you get work. If you don't, you don't. But we'll keep on trying.
A central London travel card now costs £12 a day, and not everyone is prepared to pay.
So we'll get off this train and we'll go back south, check the people coming in now. So I keep going basically the same few stations again and again and again and again and again. Checking your tickets and passes, please.
Would you like to come off the train, please, sir, so we can have a chat?
You were running for the train, but it takes a fraction of a second to touch your Oyster card.
Although you've told me where you're coming from, I can see a lot of incomplete journeys.
In just 2 hours' work,
Good morning, checking your tickets and passes, please.
they find 5 fare dodgers.
There's a lot of history where you're only touching one end of your journey. Why is that?
Checking fares is a key deterrent. And peak time for fare dodging is around 7 p.m. The team are now at North London's Angel Station.
Where are you travelling from today, sir?
Hi there, sir. See a ticket there, please. You just jumped through. We were watching you, mate.
So what?
What do you mean, so what?
So what? Listen, don't touch me, mate.
Listen, mate.
Show your ticket.
Mate, where have you travelled from?
Listen, don't touch me, yeah?
Where are you going?
Don't touch
Where are
us.
you going?
I'm not touching you.
Where are
You're
you
walking into us.
going?
Where are you going? Where are you going?
What are you doing?
You haven't pushed us.
Listen, you've travelled without a ticket.
How have I travelled without a ticket? How have I travelled?
All you have to do is deal with us.
Listen,
Deal with
get out
us.
of the way, mate.
Listen.
Don't push into us.
Listen. Deal with us. Listen, mate. Look at me.
What are you doing?
Look at me for
You
a
haven't
second.
got a ticket.
Look at me for a
How do you know
second.
you got a ticket?
Look at
You
me
haven't
for a
used
second.
one. Well, show us the
Look at me.
ticket.
Look at me for a
Let
second.
me go now,
Look
yeah?
at me
Let
for
me
a
go.
second.
Listen, let me go on my way,
Listen.
mate.
All you've got to do.
Listen, I'm not touching. Leave me alone, mate. Listen, don't touch me. I'm telling you,
Sure.
who is silly him?
Unlike the transport police, Simon and Paul don't have the power to arrest the man and have to let him go.
Gentleman jumped out without a ticket and got extremely abusive. We tried to just calmly talk to him, get in his way, make it a little bit difficult. We've got to basically file a report, put his description down.
It may be that he's already known to police to harvest the images from this body-worn camera, which I activated. And it may look and go, oh, we know him. And then they'll go and collect him and bring him back for the threats of violence and fare evasion.
Simon has been an inspector on the Underground for 18 years.
I do get fed up sometimes and I think, oh, I've had enough of people being nasty to me. That's lovely. Thank you very much. Cheers. It used to really upset me, but now you kind of, I suppose you get used to it. So it's not necessarily a good thing, but yeah, that's lovely. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Coming up, Simon and Paul collar a repeat offender.
Yeah, but it's not a free service on the Underground, is it? Everybody needs to buy a ticket.
And one of the Tube's ugly sisters needs a facelift.
Old, dingy, overcrowded.
Undercover ticket inspectors, Simon and Paul, are getting ready for another shift.
We all get on really well, know each other very well. Quite a close relationship, I suppose.
Well, not that close.
Whatever's happening, wherever we are, you will always notice an inspector is looking for where their colleagues are in the station.
Today, they're looking for a suspect who keeps jumping through barriers without paying at Mornington Crescent Station in North London.
He's started either being abusive to the staff when he comes through, saying you can't touch me, or showing them the finger as he comes through.
Staff at the station need help to catch him.
The good ones are generally very good, and they're more challenging to catch.
Station supervisor Steve has logged the suspect jumping the gates multiple times, saving approximately £400 of fares.
Most persistent fare evaders are extremely shocked we can gather that much information to catch them.
Simon reviews recent CCTV footage to identify the suspect.
I think this might be our guy here. And chatting to the staff, obviously asking to be let through, and then waiting for his opportunity, and then this person comes through, and there he goes, doubling through. That's quite a good shot there of him clearly not having put a ticket in and then jumping through. Everybody will have their day, I think. You might not catch them this time, but at some point, people usually get caught. Smile for the camera.
Simon's betting he'll be coming through the station again in the next hour. Back at Walthamstow, having an escalator out of action is still causing a bottleneck. But new recruit Leon is on his way to save the day. He's been drafted in to get everyone down the steps quicker as Walthamstow's escalator motivator.
Final mirror check. Okay. And we're good to go.
Morning, guys. Left-hand side, continue walking down where you can. What a beautiful flow from a beautiful bunch of people.
Obviously, it's a bit stressful with the escalator being closed, but he keeps everyone moving and is just full of good spirit.
High five, mate. Have a good day. Enjoy yourself. I love your hat, young man. No worries, more than that. Oh, so good. Well done for smiling on the escalator there.
But Leon's tactics are dividing opinion.
That F-off was caught on camera. Well done, man.
I thought he's acting and telling people what to do, so just ridiculous.
George Clowney, what you're doing is... George Clowney apparently is me. What you're doing is annoying, patronising, humiliating, unnecessary, ill-chosen. I'll report you if you don't stop. That's what they felt is appropriate to say. I was just a little bit deflated, actually, by reading it, because I was trying to do what I was trying to help out. And, yeah, I just find it a bit sad, a bit discouraging.
There's a couple of Aggie people, but they're just not morning people, whereas me and 80% of the, all the other commuters are the morning 11s.
You can almost smell the weekend, guys. Left-hand side, continue walking down. I'm just happy to have a job, actually, at the end of the day. I mean, you can complain a lot about everything, but I think life is what you make of it. The tube is what you make of it. Keep it up. Oh, morning there. How you doing? You're right. Make those steps count. You can do it. Left-hand side. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. Is that a Sharon fruit?
This morning I gave him a Sharon fruit. I was thinking about giving him the avocado, but I won't actually. I need it for my lunch.
The hand is waiting. There we go. Have a great day. No worries.
At Mornington Crescent Station, Simon and Paul are hoping that a suspected fare dodger is about to try his luck. Just before 6, the target turns up. He's suspected of evading fares over several weeks, and they need to catch him.
He's turned up at the gate. I was given the nod by the station staff, said he's here. I've walked away. He's come through the gate, clearly behind someone, has no ticket. So, as inspectors, if someone hasn't got a ticket, we have to act upon it.
But you said you have no ticket, is that right? Yeah, and why was that? You've got no money. OK, could I believe an offence of fare evasion suspected? I have to inform you that you may be interviewed at a later date for travelling without a ticket. Yeah? You've just jumped in without a ticket.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, but it's not a free service on the Underground, is it? Everybody needs to buy a ticket.
Yet again, Simon and Paul have to let their suspect go. After all the hard work, Simon's getting increasingly frustrated.
People just think, hey, it's a £40 penalty fare. I'm just going to get stopped and charged £40. And sometimes if I get stopped once or twice a year, I'll take the hit.
Fare evaders can face a £1,000 fine and a criminal record.
I don't think that'll make any difference to him at all. He will come through again tomorrow and the next day and double through. He's obviously regular fare evader, regularly doing this. I don't think it's going to make any difference. Some people, you can't help them.
The money Simon and Paul claw back from fare dodgers will be put towards the tube's modernisation. And with upgrade works costing £1.5 billion, every little helps.
It might not impress them when they get to a station where they cannot board the train because it's too busy, but no matter how much money is invested, there will always be, like more customers than availability. The other day I saw, like a video on YouTube about Japan where there are guards, like pushing people, like kicking them inside the train. I always think we're not too bad. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your driver speaking. This train is now ready to depart.
For years, Tottenham Court Road in the West End has been the ugly sister of the tube network. An overloaded hub station, too small for the massive number of passengers now using it every day. For the last 8 months, a £500 million transformation to double the station in size has been underway.
Before the upgrade, the station was old, dingy, overcrowded and smelly.
The old station used to be, in the winter, like working in a freezer.
It was dated.
It was dull. It was dark.
We had old tiles, they looked yellow.
You used to have trouble with trains, the amount of crowds they used to have.
People used to get too claustrophobic.
But the upgrade has meant Central Line trains have not been allowed to stop here for almost a year.
If you can imagine the upheaval it must cause just having no Central Line at all, the passengers are going to be mightily relieved to be coming back down and using this again.
Workers have been toiling round the clock to rebuild the station. But after months of work, it's now due to reopen in just 2 weeks, and pressure is mounting.
You've got the aspects of all work down here. You've got the delicate stuff, like what we're doing, the restoration work, and then you've got the heavy-duty works going on, and everybody has to strike a happy medium and all work together.
But it's one of the most fiddly parts of the job that's threatening to delay the reopening. Restoring a priceless work of art from the 80s.
During the old Margaret Thatcher years, she decided to just go for all the main West End stations in London and have a big refurb operation. And I was down here for 2 years in 1982. And I didn't think I'd ever be back here again, actually, to be honest with you.
John is in charge of restoring these mosaics, designed by Edoardo Paolozzi in 1984.
You pass up the next bit, John.
They covered 1,000 square metres of the station.
Like that. That way.
That's it, and then you're going to go straight on through.
And as you can see, when I'm up here doing it, Matthew's more my eyes because I'm so close, I can't always see the pattern.
Relaying the mosaics is a labour-intensive process, and with a tight schedule, they can't afford to get it wrong.
One night we just happened to be 1 cube out, and we had to take the lot down and actually physically redo it all again.
See at the bottom here, for some reason he's put 3 white cubes in. Go along.
There.
3 white ones there.
Shall I put 3 purple in there?
There should be purple here now.
So why did he put them in?
I didn't. That was,
so we've got
that was made up on the sheets.
Yeah, we've got a guy down the office who puts these on, and look, he's put 3 on wrong there. His name's Steve Kavanagh. Once this panel's done, we'll stand back, look at it, and all the colours will be correct to the drawing. And in a few months' time, when the rest is finished, the heritage team will come down and look at it, and hopefully everything will be correct as it should be.
For John, it's a true labour of love.
You get more job satisfaction doing this type of work. It's not stressful, it's more, well, I wouldn't say like a joy, but you do get a certain amount of satisfaction that you've actually built something, created it back to where it was, rather than just doing your normal average 9 to 5 doing bathrooms or supermarket floors. You actually got something to look at the end of the day.
Eye-pleasing or not, the station must reopen to the public in 2 weeks' time. Carrying out the most ambitious upgrade programme in its history means London Underground needs all the money it can get. So now, the Tube is launching a new offensive called Operation Falcon to tackle a persistent core of fare evaders who refuse to pay their way. It's led by Dan, the Tube's own CID chief.
Welcome to the briefing for Operation Falcon.
Over the next 2 months, his team will target over 60 suspects, using live tracking software to catch them as they move through the system. But Dan is well aware of the risks when confronting repeat offenders.
In 2011, I had quite a nasty assault where I got bitten. So we've got bite marks on my arm, 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a puncture mark, which is just on the inside of my wrist, where he sunk his teeth in. It happens. I mean, you know, I've been doing the job, 13 years now, and there's probably only been 3 really sort of naughty ones, and that was one of them. That's probably the worst.
Today, he's at Kentish Town with one of the undercover team, Nigel. They've been gathering intelligence about 2 long-term fare evaders they want to catch.
I came down to Kentish Town yesterday to get some CCTV images, and when I checked the CCTV, got 2 male gentlemen coming through together in the morning, in the evening, and they've both been doing it consistently. So it's just under 200 offences between the 2 of them for probably around about £800.
Using the latest specialist tracking technology that can follow the suspects via their Oyster cards, Nigel can see their progress through the underground. They have no idea the team is closing in.
I've now got the system live, so when he uses it at Woolwich Arsenal round about 9:20, within a few minutes we will know when he's on the move. There we go. Customer's now
on the move, yeah.
Yep. Mornington Crescent's there. We expect that train to be there in 10 minutes. Once he gets to Mornington Crescent, we will then have 4 minutes to get to the top. Radio, check your receiving.
Yeah, all receiving.
I'm going to go down and follow him up.
What we decided to do was just have Nigel on the platform, looking out for when the train comes in to make sure we got a definite ID on them. And then Nigel's going to try and make it up the escalator in front of them so we can stop both of them. It's good to have an eyeball, so we want to obviously know they're coming.
Lower level to upper level, train 132 just left the station.
So yeah, here we are. It's all go, all green for go. This is when the adrenaline starts to kick in. You never know, it could go either way. You know, it could be really passive and it could be great, or it could kick off and it goes like that.
Good to go. My one's in. I think your man may be in red. I'm just coming up the escalator.
Okay, receive. Nigel, my one's in red.
There's one behind my one with a red fleece on. See your ticket, chap.
Sorry?
Your ticket, Oyster.
Revenue Control Inspector for London Underground.
Do you know why we stopped you?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
So we need to interview you because we suspect you both of committing offences on the railway. Come with us, we'll get the interview done as quickly as we can for you, all right?
Coming up, Nigel and Dan interrogate their suspects.
If it's 87 journeys that you haven't paid for.
You're cheating on TfL.
And showbiz legend Dame Barbara Windsor carries on up the tube.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform. I've always wanted to say that. Mind the gap.
At Kentish Town, Operation Falcon inspectors Nigel and Dan are interrogating two men they suspect of cheating the tube out of hundreds of pounds.
There's 87 journeys, £417.40 of unpaid fares. That's money you owe London Underground.
This interview is being recorded and it could be played back in a court of law.
You're making 87 journeys and you've only put £4 on there. So it's 87 journeys that you haven't paid for.
Do you know why we've stopped you?
I know because I have not paid for Zone 1.
Do you agree with me that when you made those journeys, the full fare wasn't paid?
Tell me about your actions, how you've not paid for Zone 1.
Did you deliberately make those 87 journeys to avoid paying for Zone 1?
We have a total of 105 offences.
Do you agree with me that when you made those journeys, the full fare wasn't paid?
Actually, I was not doing it deliberately.
After nearly half an hour, there's a breakthrough.
Here you'll see that it says zero,
Yeah.
because you've not paid for Zone 1.
I'm cheating on TFL, so that's...
You're cheating on TfL.
Do you agree it was your intention to avoid paying the full fare?
Yeah, I agree. I know it was totally wrong against the law, and once I caught, I have to pay the consequences.
Dan and Nigel must now send all their evidence to the prosecution's team. Fare evasion on this scale could mean a £1,000 fine or even prison.
Hopefully, it sends a message out there. Pay the correct fare, use your card correctly. We got the train, you got the money. Happy families.
Back at Walthamstow, there's good news about the escalator repair.
Number 1 escalator is fit, rearing to go. It's on the up.
But the staff and passengers can't celebrate yet.
Number 3, unfortunately, still out of action for a little while longer.
And with the evening rush hour now in full swing, it's not just the escalators causing a problem for passengers.
You're right then, my love. No. Try that one. Ah, there we go. I think our gate's gone down. Tab, the gate's gone down. It's on resetting codes, but I might give it a 96. I've given it a 96. I should get it going. That's like giving it a good smack.
Desperate to return the escalator to service as soon as possible, Station Supervisor Isaac checks the progress with the repair team.
Hi, guys.
Hi, how you doing?
How's it going? All right. Any problems? All good.
Tonight, they take delivery of the £17,000 drive chain.
Yeah, a little bit of noise, but apart from that...
Apart from that.
All good.
Despite working round the clock, the chain is a job that just can't be rushed. They're using the old-fashioned plumb line method.
This is a plumb bob, obviously it's dropped from our datum line that runs from the top of the escalator to the bottom. Everything you see pretty much is set from this line to make sure that it's in line. This is the way it's been done for years and years, and this is the way it'll be done for the next 30, 40 years.
There are 430 escalators across the underground. Each one is totally bespoke.
Basically, these type of escalators are some of the only type in the world because it's inside an existing station. Every bit of it's built part by part. Most escalators in the outside world, they're brought in one lump and dropped in a hole, ready to go. Obviously, this has got a hell of a lot more parts than there are normal escalators, so that's why it takes so long. Some of the escalators are sort of 40, 50 years old.
They're literally running 18 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Non-stop.
It's just one step closer now, one step closer. Every day, little bits of the jigsaw gets put together. It's one day, the escalator is coming back to service.
At Tottenham Court Road, they're still working flat out to get the new station finished on time. Today, they must complete the showstopper of the project, a gigantic glass roof. Checking on its progress is David Waboso.
I can't believe it's nearly a year ago since we did this.
The man in charge of the tube's £1.5 billion upgrade.
It's actually engineered in glass.
Completely in glass.
Honestly, the glass takes its own weight.
Own weight completely.
Wow.
But there's one thing they haven't thought of.
But how do you clean the top?
Back underground, John has an increasingly tight deadline to hit.
Well, we're on a programme on that wall. We've been given until the 2nd of December to finish up there. So it takes something like for somebody to be in our way one night, we might have to move, and that will push the date on by a day. That's called a frustration. And then once that's all finished, then the team will come in, do the detergent wash, and then it should all look nice and clean.
But some delays he just can't control.
We go home on a Monday night, we'd come in on a Tuesday, and where it was still slightly soft, we'd find people would be flicking out the cube, and that was their bit of souvenir of London. Mostly they like to go for the coloured bits. They don't like a white one, they like a piece of colour. And once they start on it, if you don't put it back quick enough, it's easier for them to get another piece off then. That's the tourist for you. I think I've got a bit of the West End in my pocket, you know. Little souvenir, it's cost them nothing.
London's a city of contrasts, with billionaires living alongside some of the poorest families in the UK, including the homeless, and both use the tube. Undercover ticket inspectors Simon and Paul are at Belsize Park, one of London's wealthiest suburbs. Staff have spotted a man regularly jumping the barriers.
We've got basically a report of a regular fare evader doubling through between 5:30 and 7 o'clock. There's been a number of occasions where he's done it.
Using CCTV footage, Simon and Paul need to identify the man correctly before they can attempt to catch him.
Late 20s to early 30s, always wears the same grey jacket, black cap, and carries an Adidas rucksack.
Is that him?
That's him.
Found him.
Didn't touch at all.
No, he's just jumped straight through behind somebody, and then he was coming into the lift.
Simon and Paul think they've found the right man.
This is him here. You see it? Hopefully he'll come back in. Stay there a sec. Excuse me, sir. Hi. Ticket inspector. Yeah. Just stop a minute, stop a minute. Have you got a ticket? No? Where have you travelled from? Where are you going to?
I was going over to, bank.
To bank? Yeah. So why haven't you got a ticket today?
Because I can't afford it.
Can you not afford it?
No,
what I need you to do, I need you to come upstairs with me, have a little chat, about 5-10 minutes, and you can go on your way, all right? So just come around with me here. So what's happened then? You're homeless at the moment, are you?
I'm homeless at the moment. I'm trying to get over to Spitalfields. Sometimes I get a little bit of work over there and make right. Some food and a bit of money. And
so what's that, down at Bank, is it?
Yeah, it's Old Spitalfields Market.
Right.
But the nearest stop's Bank.
OK. Whereabouts have you been today? You've just been out here at Belsize?
Yeah, because my fiance's got like a women's hostel up this end.
Right. So you come up here and visit her, do you?
Yeah, not allowed overnight stays there, though.
Oh, OK.
Even though the suspect tells Simon he's homeless and can't afford a ticket, Simon still needs to question him.
Do you agree that you jumped through the gates with intent to basically avoid paying for your journey today? Yeah. No, I wasn't expecting him to be homeless. Which explains his actions, really, you know. He's down in his luck, he's got no money, so obviously things are hard.
And this time, he decides to do the man a favour.
OK, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to give Bank a ring and I'm going to let you travel there, all right? But you need to make sure that you don't carry on with this behaviour, yeah? Yeah, it is upsetting, but I'm here to do a job, which is to enforce, you know, that people use correct tickets on the railway, so...
It's the busiest shopping weekend of the year, and 3 million people have flocked to London's West End. With less than 48 hours to go until the new Tottenham Court Road station is revealed, a decision has been made to close the entire station to the public for the whole weekend, while the builders rush to finish the job.
Yeah, what a stunning job.
Upgrade boss David Weboso knows how important it is to deliver the station back on time.
We've got a big deadline here, which is to reopen the Central Line platforms, and it's all hands to deck.
It's a decision that doesn't go down well with the shoppers.
This is the main area of London, Oxford Street, and the station is closed.
We do say that we want a world-class tube for a world-class city, because London is undoubtedly the world city.
It feels weird that on a Saturday they would close it down.
And we've got to cope with, you know, 1 million more people. What we've done is taken away something from our customers for a period of time. It's our duty to just get it back on the date we promised them.
My boyfriend, actually a couple of days ago, he said that Tottenham Court Road would be open. So I was going to meet him here, and it's not open.
At Westminster Station, Tube boss Nick Brown is organising a military operation.
We're on time. Last time I was here, there was a Dalek here.
Go for it, Nick. Yeah, thanks.
It's Poppy Day, and Nick has asked Simon and the team to collect donations instead of penalty fares.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Revenue Control Inspectors. Checking your tickets and passes? No, not really. We're just checking to see if you have any money for London Poppy Day today, please.
He's also asked National Treasure Dame Barbara Windsor to be train driver for the day.
This is a needle in a haystack job this morning. 600 odd trains.
Yeah.
All of them have got poppies on, but some of them have got poppies all over.
Oh,
and
no.
we've got to get the right
How
one. We've got to get
exciting.
you, the station, the train, all these other
All
guys,
together,
all in the same place,
all got
all
to
at the
arrive
same time. So, wish us
Oh,
luck.
brilliant. Hold the train, hold the train, hold the train.
Up in the driver's cab, London Underground's newest recruit is keeping calm and carrying on.
Hello, everybody. This is Barbara Windsor here. The next station is Blackfriars. Change for National Rail Services.
For once, Simon is happy to take money off passengers.
Ladies and gentlemen, Revenue Control Inspectors, we're not checking tickets today, but if you'd like to donate to the Poppy Appeal, now's your opportunity.
But he's keen to make sure he gets to meet Dame Barbara too.
Barbara Windsor's at the front of the train. She's not driving it, but if you want to donate to Poppy Day, now's your opportunity. No, she's in the front with the driver. Yes, she is, yeah. And we're travelling around the Circle Line.
Now, the next station is Embankment. Change for the Bakerloo and Northern Lines and National Rail Services from Charing Cross. God bless. Mind the gap between the train and the platform. I've always wanted to say that. Mind the gap. I'm so
So we're only just below street level here.
Oh.
Some of the underground lines are way deeper, and of course they go under the river. And
Go on, frighten bleating life out of me.
have you been on the front of one of these before?
No.
This is what it's
Don't
like.
get many firsts at my age. You know, they've all been done. I've done it all. Well, almost. I remember the first time I ever came on a tube, I thought, oh, it's not like the buses. It's ever so smooth, isn't it?
This is a brand new train, Barbara. New this year, and these are air conditioned as well, so it's a little bit
Do
cooler.
you know what? I thought it was air
Yeah.
conditioned.
Some people.
A bit of a George Raft going up my legs, I thought. Ladies and gentlemen, the next station will be Great Portland Street, and I shall be getting off.
At Great Portland Street, it's the end of the line for Poppy Day.
I love the way they all do it French.
Well, we'll get twice as much.
And Simon finally spots his chance.
Is there any chance that someone could take a picture for me? Thanks. I suppose the old classic that Barbara Windsor was in was Carry On Camping. Everyone remembers this scene where the bikini top flew off, don't they? Really enjoyed your announcement on the train. I thought they were great. You did really well.
I don't know what voice I had.
No, it was lovely. It was like your best voice.
Hello, everyone.
Coming up, Tottenham Court Road Station reopens.
The way it's been put is to go from the Black Hole of Calcutta to an open field in summertime.
And at Walthamstow, Cat's in charge of the wobbly train.
Yeah, I don't mind drunk people. Yeah.
It's 10 p.m. in Walthamstow, and the evening rush hour is winding down. But the escalator repair still isn't finished.
Be careful, all three of you, please.
So Cat is keeping a special eye out for the evening passengers.
It's a wobbly train now. Yeah, I don't mind drunk people. Oh, hang on, not gone. Stand back a little bit. Most of them are quite merry, bless. If they look a bit nasty, just stand back.
At this time of night,
Oh dear.
it's not just the escalators that are out of action.
Mind's where you're walking there, sir. Be careful. Be careful there, don't you slip in. We had a poor lady that someone was sick in front of her, but she didn't see and she went flying. Let's try and clean her up, and it's terrible.
As the Victoria line closes,
Night. See you tomorrow, Peter.
Kat clocks off for the night. But for station supervisor Isaac, it's the start of his night shift.
People ask me, what do you do on nights? The station's closed. Do you twiddle your thumbs? You know, so I says, no, it's still very busy at night. A lot of engineering work goes on.
For the escalator repair team, it's a 24/7 job. Steve and Adam have reached a milestone in the refit of the moving staircase.
We're just going to check our tracks that we set last night, see they're still in position before we pin them, because we pin them so they don't have to move. Just going to check them for level, really. Got a tolerance of 0.5 mil, so that's fine.
Although the escalators are getting older, the refit time is getting shorter.
It's a 13-week programme, so start to finish.
Because this was such a busy station, they cut the programme by.
Obviously, it affects customers, so they want it done in the shortest space of time.
Everything links one job to another, and if you fail on one day, that could put you back 2-3 days. Throughout the whole 3-month process, before you realise it, you could be behind 1, 2, even 3 weeks.
And with the great switch on due in just 3 weeks, it can't come too soon for the station's passengers.
I know the public complain when we take an escalator out, but really, they should be happy because their station's being revamped.
It's 5 a.m. and the network is reawakening.
Morning, everyone.
But it's far from being just an ordinary day.
All clear to open up?
Yeah, we can open up.
One of the jewels in the West End's crown, Tottenham Court Road Station, is reopening. After £500 million
Morning, Pappy.
and thousands of shiny new tiles, it's about to welcome its first passengers.
The transformation from the old to the new is quite something.
The way it's been put is to go from the Black Hole of Calcutta to an open field in summertime.
It's like a million times better. The old one was horrible. It was like descending into hell.
It's very pretty, it's very modern, it's very clean. Progress.
Looks fine, nice and roomy. You know, need more investment. I think that's the word.
As soon as the driver said that the train's going to stop, I was like, glad. I'm delighted. That's it, it's much easier.
David Waboso, the man responsible for getting the station ready on time, wants to arrive by train.
Well done, mate. Well done. Well done. Hi. Well done.
How you doing?
You did it.
All right.
You did it in the end. Yeah. It does look nice, doesn't it? It does look nice.
For a man who's built his reputation delivering projects on schedule,
It's great we've managed to retain so much of it.
today has come as a big relief.
Thanks for your patience. Oh, thank you. There's such a lot riding on this. When we take something like a platform out and people can't stop, it's a big deal, especially in a place like this in the middle of London. But the commitment we made is that we're going to get it back on the 7th of December. And what was very important is on the 7th of December when it came back, you can see it once you do something like that, it's like it's never been away. But yeah, if we hadn't made it, yeah, I wouldn't be here today smiling, that's for sure.
Next time,
You do think, what if it comes to your station?
We're constantly on a high alert here. Caucasian male being pro-ISIS and wanting to blow up trains. What we're looking for sticking out.
Wales. The next time this happens, it won't be in a power station in Dartford, it'll be in for real.
Or it could happen again, but then there's lightning striking the same place twice.
A million wildebeest are on the move, but heading for poaching territory. Ben Fogle's epic new series, The Great African Migration, continues Friday at 9 on Channel 5. And next tonight, new season Gotham, Wrath of the Villains, after the break.